Welcome to the We Only Read the Pictures podcast. My name's Mike.
I'm Darren.
We're just going to go over the films we've seen in the last week, and our topic this week is the new space sci-fi trend, which started from Gravity, which we're calling the Gravity Wave.
Whatever
we want to call it.
It's that thing that's Gravity, Interstellar, then the Martian. It's that whole thing of like we now have a current space of space movies which have sort of reclaimed their place as the main sci-fi of Hollywood.
And I've got a presence in the Academy Awards as well.
Yeah, well, just in general acclaim. Mm-hmm. So, as always, letterbox, see what we're doing, follow us, etc. Okay, so let's begin with the films we've watched. Mm-hmm. One film that we saw on Monday in a preview screening, so it comes out Friday in the UK, is Ben Wheatley's new film, Free Fire. I love Ben Wheatley. He is probably one of the best British directors to emerge in the last few years. This is his 5th movie in 6 years. Also his 5th great movie in 6 years. So he's on a pretty good run of form. Free Fire is fun, it's inventive, basic premise, like bunch of people are doing a weapons deal in a warehouse in Boston, USA. Mm-hmm. Things go wrong, there's a shootout lasts like the entire...
For the rest of the movie.
Yeah, that's it. It's just fun. It's funny, it's brilliant, the action's great, it's just a really fun ride.
Yeah, there's a lot of great insults as well, like the dialogue, how all the gang members are just like, all the banter that comes in, and they're just... they always just make you laugh in the middle of all the action, yeah.
I mean, the dialogue is so great. Like, I do think a lot of credit needs to go to Amy Jump, who writes all of Ben Wheatley's movies. And also, I mean, he often co-writes with her. And actually, no, they didn't write Sightseers. But, okay, nonetheless, she writes most of his movies, and she helped write Free Fire with him. And she's really good at getting like the banterous, insulting...
Just those lines that hit you and got the audience laughing.
Yeah. And the cast is so good. Like what really surprised me about it was that like there's actors that I obviously knew were great. So Brie Larson, obviously great. Cillian Murphy is brilliant. Michael Smiley's great. Jack Rayner, the people you expect to be great are great. But then the people who are usually not great in movies are great. Shelton Copley, Mr. I always overact. He's suddenly overacting, but he works. He's so good. He's Vern, who he plays, is this dickhead gun dealer, and he is the best character. I think he was the one that made me laugh the most. He's the one that gave me the most enjoyment. He wasn't the deepest of characters, but I genuinely thought he stole the show. And I don't like him as an actor. He was the one actor I was most worried about before I saw the movie. So, It's one of those films where it's a shallow film, but if you go in wanting thrills, it'll meet your expectations.
I think it's definitely a great fun. It's a great concept for a film, full stop. There is a lot of... there's something about the editing, or there's a lot of... It is quite chaotic as a film as well. I mean, I was reading your review of it actually, and it's like, the issue maybe is that you're not sure what everyone is, or what their relation is to people, and I found that as well. But I'm not sure is that intentional or not, because... That's
the thing. Yeah. I also did in my review, that could be forgiven, because the characters also don't know where everybody is. I mean, I think Ben Wheatley is a master of directing chaos. I think High Rise, his previous movie, is chaos captured perfectly, and I think Kill List has chaos intrinsic in its nature. A Field in England is just the most trippiest, chaotic film. I think Ben Wheatley captures so much chaos, but he captures it in a way that's interesting and always, like he has a way of doing it that makes it not as chaotic as it is. And Free Fire is very chaotic, but it's pretty. But because you're having fun, you know where you stand with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it'll probably be the film to see this weekend, I guess.
Yeah, I think if you want to have a good sort of action film to enjoy with your mates, have a good time, that's a thing, the film to see. Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be the film of the weekend. Okay, so another film that we both saw is, speaking of sci-fi trends, is Life.
So the premise, which is completely original premise, you agree, is a bunch of scientists in a spaceship which is orbiting around Earth, and they find some life from Mars or whatever it is, and they're studying it, and then it grows into something a bit of a monster, and starts.
And then it picks a crew off one by one, and they've got to hunt it down
before it goes to Earth. They want.
I mean, the more I think about life, the less I actually like it.
Mm-hmm.
I left the cinema. I mean, when I actually first watched the film, at first I was thinking, this is pretty boring. And then it picked up in the middle, and by the end I was like, no, okay, that was good enough to get over how unoriginal it is.
I think it's a pretty standard thriller, sci-fi / horror flick. It doesn't do anything too badly. It's pretty safe. But I mean, I haven't actually seen Alien, but even so, I got the sense that I don't think there's anything new here. There's nothing original being done.
There is one thing that is new.
Yeah, which got me.
And that is superb. That is one of the best moments I've seen in the cinema this year.
Yeah, that moment did get me.
But aside from that, it is the same thing. All I could think when I was watching it was the amount that I would rather be watching Alien is infinite. I'm sort of going. The point. I mean, this is not really. This is mild spoilers. So turn away for a minute if you don't want to hear this. But about 20-30 minutes in, an alien goes inside a character, or the alien goes inside the character, and then bursts out in this bloody gory fashion. And I was sat there going, that's just Alien.
That's ripping it off.
The film. The thing is, I will give the film is technically well made. CGI good, acting good, writing okay. It all kind of works. It's not really nonsensical. It all kind of fine for what it is. But there is an aspect of it that's kind of insulting, in that you sat there going, the people who made it knew this was unoriginal, and it was lazy, and it was just copying other films, and they didn't make any effort to not do that. They just copied it. They're like, it's lazy, and I'll just be lazy. I get that they do it all very, very well, but on one level, it is kind of a little bit could you really not have thought any other twist to on the Alien story?
Yeah. No, it's...
Or could you only think of one? I mean, really?
I mean, overall, it's kind of what we expected it to be, really, from what we saw from the premise and the trailer.
But I mean, I assumed I actually thought it would be more original. I went in thinking the trailers look like Alien, but it can't just be Alien, right? They've got to have something more to it, and they don't. That's
other than one thing.
Yeah, if anything, it's stunning how unoriginal it is. Because you start there going, nah, these people can't have written this script and not gone, oh, we're just writing Alien. They must have known, right?
Yeah. I did like the opening shot though. That long take.
Yeah.
That was kind of nice. And it felt like it was in an actual spacecraft, because...
I was just fine.
I mean, I was like, this is nice.
At this point, it's nothing.
But it's just a little thing up,
I did think... I did think one of the ironic things in my screening was that they played a trailer for Alien Covenant.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching the trailer for Alien Covenant, I was just thinking... Boy, do I wish I was watching this movie. Because even if Alien Covenant is unoriginal and rubbish, which, first of all, it's a Prometheus sequel. Prometheus, diss it all you want, it isn't the same thing as Alien. Alien Covenant might be unoriginal, let's say, but damn well it'd be more original than Life. And at least it's in the same franchise. I could forgive Alien Covenant if that's rubbish. But Life, I was like, why are you rubbish? You didn't have to do this. I mean, I'm saying it's rubbish, but only because I liked it when I saw it, and it's just descended so big in my mind.
Yeah, I think it got me. It kept me entertained. I think if you want to just have a film which, for the purpose of entertainment, it's fine. It will do a job for you. But yeah.
Okay, so talking of other movies playing in cinemas, this is the most unexpected thing ever. The new Power Rangers reboot.
Yes.
On our top 10 worst of the year, it was in our 10 least anticipated movies of the year. I went to see it by myself. The screening was almost dead. There was 5 people in there, and 2 of them were adults with kids, and there was one other lonely person.
So less members than the Power Rangers.
There's 5 Power Rangers.
Is there 5 Power? Oh, so you could have all been the Power Rangers.
If you start including the people who were ex-Power Rangers, there's 7. If you include hints, there's 8. But nonetheless... So I went in there and thought, this is going to be rubbish, let's see. And then suddenly, it was actually good. Mm-hmm. Now, non-ironically good. I'm not like, it wasn't so bad it's good. Like, I actually think it's a good film. It is flawed in 1,000,001 ways. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. I don't know. Like, it makes no sense. It's kind of forced. The humour is kind of grating. It's not that, but it's enjoyable, which is surprising. But the second thing is, it's actually really based in character and not in just being goofy and gimmicky. Mm-hmm. So the first hour and a half, like, it takes 90 minutes before they get the Power Ranger suits on. Mm-hmm. Now, when I read that in a review, like, oh, there's 90 minutes, I'm thinking to myself, oh god, it's going to be boring for 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's actually the opposite. Once they get the suit on, then it's boring. Mm-hmm. The first 90 minutes are all just a bunch of people thrown together becoming friends. Yeah. Right, as they learn to be the Power Rangers. And what's really great about it is that, like, although that it's all kind of cliche and kind of gimmicky, well, not gimmicky, kind of cliche. I genuinely felt invested in them, and I genuinely liked their company. I genuinely liked watching them go through this. And when they did become Power Rangers, it did feel somewhat genuine. Mm-hmm. Once they become Power Rangers, it is just rubbish CGI things hitting each other. Yeah. Which is, I can live without. Yeah.
So, sorry.
No, go on.
So it took its time then, yeah.
Yeah, it took its time. But I will say this, it's actually surprising because the slower it was, the more I liked it. Mm. It's certainly not a masterpiece, and I would say objectively it's probably a bad film. Mm-hmm. But I sat there and I enjoyed it all the way through, and I was entertained, and if I paid money to see it, I wouldn't be unhappy. Okay. So, not good. Worse than Life. But, I mean... not bad. It's worse than Life, but like it's all right. Like, it's honestly fine. I've seen far worse. Mm-hmm. Like it's like Great Wall Syndrome of it's obviously bad, but like
it's fun to watch.
Yeah, right. Mm. Except this, I said this is better than Great Wall because it actually has characters. So it's weird like that.
A Great Wall of characters.
Yeah, I mean it's not a perfect film, but I liked it. Okay, so let's move away from what's currently playing in cinemas, because there's some films that we both watched.
So yeah, we both saw Ghost in the Shell, the original
1995.
Yeah, because obviously the remake's coming out.
This is my third watch.
Yeah, this is the first time I watched it, and I was a little bit disappointed because I hear it's all a classic and one of the best fairy tales of all time. But I found it was a little bit. I felt there was a really interesting world there, but I couldn't quite grasp all its complexities. I didn't get the whole world. It's just, it felt like there was so much to establish, and I didn't get it. I just didn't get it, and so that was really disappointing. Although I did love the imagery in it. I thought some things exploded and when.
What I actually can't remember what the explosions look like.
Well, like it's sort of how the humans exploded and like how.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Like how it all obliterated into parts.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, and like that scene when she's in the water and and when things become invisible and how they reappear. All of that I really liked, and I did like the ending. It kind of I actually understood. I kind of got why it's actually a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall a bit disappointed, but maybe I should rewatch it.
Right, I can totally sympathise with this because I've had a weird experience with Ghost in the Shell. So this is gonna be a little bit long-winded, but trust me, it gets back to Ghost in the Shell quickly. There's films that you watch that I've watched and I know instantly that they're masterpieces. Mm-hmm. So something like 2001: A Space Odyssey, mm-hmm. something like Saturn Tango. I watch it and I instantly go, this is a masterpiece, and it instantly gets like my top 10 films of all time, and I watch it every time I rewatch it I like it even more. Mm-hmm. Then there's other kind of movies, and then movies which I watch and I think are good but not great, and then I rewatch them a few times and suddenly I go, oh my god, I get it. I just get every bit of this film and I understand why it's all happening, and I get it and I love it. So this is like Blade Runner. I watched Blade Runner and I thought, this is alright. It's not a masterpiece, but it's fine. Mm-hmm. Second time I went, oh hell no, this is brilliant. Mm-hmm. Third time I went, no, this is perfect. And since then it's in like my top 5 movies ever, and it's a perfect movie, and anyone that says otherwise is wrong. Mm-hmm. Specifically the final cut, just to specify. Pan's Labyrinth is another film which I was indifferent to, and then I liked, and then every rewatch makes me like it more. So I watched Ghost in the Shell first 2 times, and I thought it was a confusing film, but it was very, very worthy of being confusing because it was complex and interesting and had a great world and great visuals, and it was about things. But like you, I didn't think it was a masterpiece. Then yesterday I watched the original. I watched it again, I rewatched it, and I sort of went, no. I got it. I just got it. I just got the film, and I now think it's absolutely almost flawless. There's many reasons for this. I think the first reason why Ghost in the Shell, the 1995 film, is a masterpiece is because it is the epitome of cyberpunk. Cyberpunk has never been better than it is in Ghost in the Shell. Because this isn't a world in... Because Ghost in the Shell is a literal world of cyberpunk. The characters exist in a world of cyberpunk, and there's no... They don't explain it. They just live it. It's a film that just presents what a world would be as cyberpunk without... It pretends there's no audience. It's a film that doesn't go, oh look, we have to explain to you what it means to be a cyborg. I'm a cyborg because I have these bits inside me. I'm a computer who can do... No, none of this. Characters just say, oh, I'm a cyborg. And the other characters go, oh yeah. And that's it. The film doesn't explain to you what things mean. It doesn't explain what a ghost is, what a shell is. It just has them in the film. And you have to watch it a few times to get it. But now I really get what it's about. I think it's really very interesting. It's really philosophical as well. I mean, its message ultimately comes down to souls don't exist. So it's quite depressing as well. It's certainly a film which implies there's no afterlife, or implies that we aren't anything. You know, if you were to destroy our brains and our physical form, we would be. There is no us.
There's a lot about identity and all that kind of stuff.
And I think what's really important about it is that, like, it is definitely a film which you have to think about, and it makes no effort to make it easy for you. I think it doesn't concede. It doesn't want to pander.
Okay, I can respect that. But I suppose next time I'm watching is the remake.
Yeah, it did take me 3 viewings to get this far. But now I love it, so I definitely changed. I will say this though, about the remake. My big worry about the remake is because I used to think that the fact that Ghost in the Shell was confusing was a problem. Like, you think, why couldn't they just make the film more coherent? Like, make it obvious what's going on. Because you say you didn't. I used to not understand it. But I realised yesterday that's part of what's good about the film. Because it's kind of difficult to understand. Because when you don't know the plot, you're relying solely on the characters and on the thematics of the piece. And the thematics and the characters are what's strong about it. The plot is kind of incidental. Like, you wouldn't be able to discuss things like how the government would want to possess people if you didn't. That's part of Ghost in the Shell, but that's not. But if you concentrate solely on plot, you'll get strung up on those details.
Yeah, because that was another dimension I wasn't quite grasping, was the politics side of it. There was this like foreign minister guy, and there was like all this talk, and I was like, okay, there's that bit, and then there's this other stuff, and I was just trying to grasp all.
But the thing is that the film doesn't need to tell you the politics because it's pretty intuitive. It's pretty obvious. If you have the ability to hack somebody else's mind, the government would use that for diplomatic purposes. And on top of that, that's a distraction to the actual thematic, which is identity. And as well as that, why they don't need to explain to you the politics, because if they did, then it would make it A, specific, which would get rid of the whole universal aspect of the film, and B, it would make it unrealistic, because the characters would then be literally saying, oh, in our world we have this department that does this, which wouldn't be useful, aside from in a plot sense. So I think it's not an easy film to just get, but if you get it, it's really worth digging into. I've spent like the last 24 hours just reading so many different ways of looking at it, because I think now, I feel like once you reach that point, it's just so interesting. But it's definitely dense, which is to its betterment. What I'm worried the remake will do is the remake will make the plot really obvious.
Yeah, I can easily see that,
because one, it needs to pander to
the normal cinema goer who wants to watch an action film.
Yeah, Which, it's not an action film, Jesus.
But it's going to be that.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an action film, it's a piece of philosophy.
Yeah.
But, so, they have to... But the other thing is, I'm worried that it'll make the original easier to... I think it will actually detrimentally impact the original, because then people will watch the original and understand the plot because they've seen it from the remake, and then the denseness of the original is lost, because now people watch the original, there's no concentration on the thematics, only on the plot, because now you know... If you watch it and you know what the government's doing, then that changes the film, because now you go, oh, he's doing this thing because of that. No. Instead of it being a much more... Brechtian, stand back, distance yourself from the film, you're now going to be really following the plot of it, which is a different whole thing to following the ideas.
Yeah.
So,
we'll see next week what we think of the remake, I guess.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, this one's divisive.
Sing. So, I think I'll just start saying, I thought it was a pleasant thing to watch. I agree, it's very simplistic. All the character arcs are cliche, predictable, all that stuff. But I still laughed along with it and kind of enjoyed it. So, yeah. Darren, start your
I thought
speech.
Sing was grotesque, ghastly, terrible. Everything that I could... all the plots I laid out about Ghost in the Shell do not exist with Sing. Sing is the most pandering, cynical, shallow, unfunny, cliched, unsubtle, stupid film I've seen in a long time. I just thought it was terrible. And I do think it's... totally serious, deadly serious here. I do think it's lower standards in animation. I think something like Sing is proof that you can sell any old shit, because it's a film that goes, oh, it's a movie for kids, let's make it unintelligent, let's make it shallow, let's put in pop songs because people like pop songs, let's not make it artistic, let's be purely money based. It's the most artless, worthless. I hated it.
I still kind of enjoy the pop song performances, like in the end as well.
It's not a case of enjoying them. Just
I know.
Just think how cynical it is. Think how clearly they've gone. Oh, 10-year-olds like Katy Perry. Let's put Katy Perry songs in this movie. And the thing that gets is stuff like Kubo Bombs. Stuff like Ghibli are going out of business, and then shit like this
makes money, yeah.
No, and what's worse is, like deadly serious point here. If you're aware of movies on any level, and you have access to movies from Disney, Ghibli, Laika, DreamWorks, and you have the option to put one of those movies on or put Sing on for your child. If you choose Sing, you're bad. That's bad. Because you're choosing a movie that will not inspire your children, will not spark their imagination, will not boost them morally, will not boost them emotionally, will not help them think, will not do anything beneficial for their life. They will not gain nostalgic memories from it. They will not remember the film in 5 minutes' time. You could choose an art there's so many different options that are so worthwhile for children. But the idea that they need to pander to this level is insulting, it's demeaning, it's patronising, it is garbage. Done.
Okay, move on. Got that. Okay, so I saw a Bollywood film called Lagaan. It's nearly 4 hours long. It was released in 2003, and it was nominated for Best Foreign Film at the Oscars. Basic premise, the word Lagaan means tax, which we use. The premise is basically that set in British Raja, around a Indian village, very poor, live on farming, agriculture, and there's been drought, so they've been sort of struggling to live, and the British officer basically forces or tells the Raja of that province, I want you to double the gun, and that causes the villagers to go mental, like, this is ridiculous, we cannot live like this, and they go up to the British officers who at the time were playing a game of cricket.
Yeah.
And then basically later on, one of the villagers sort of makes a joke about the cricket. It's just like one of the games we play and it's easy. And then all the villagers come to the head British officer, and the officer makes offers the villager a deal. We play a game of cricket with you guys, and if you lose, I will triple the Lagaan.
Yeah.
If you win, I'll cancel it.
Yep, this sounds like it really happened.
No, obviously it's a fictional story.
Yeah.
And I mean that's sort of the basis of the wager. It does sort of escalate a little bit more than that, but I'll save it for if you want to watch it. And so it basically is an underdog story, really, and it is incredibly intense. I think it's what helps is that the stakes are really, really high. You really feel it's like real stakes for a real village, not just villages, there's lots of villages as well.
Yeah.
Real people who are poor and starving and struggling, and it's all on this small group of guys, and you have to actually build a team up together, and who don't know how to play cricket really, so they have to learn, and they have to be serve officers who do it as a hobby. It is a really interesting way of looking at British imperialism and how British treated Indians, how they insulted them, they insulted the religion, the culture. The British officer that is the main guy is incredibly cocky and he's an absolute dick, and really horrible guy. But the good thing about it is it does draw a parallel to that sort of way the British treated the Indians to the Indian caste system, which is still present at the time. So it kind of shows that sort of hypocrisy that the Indians also kind of were sort of discriminatory to themselves because they had the lower caste who had the untouchables. So it's kind of balanced in that it's not just a case that British are evil and Indians are good. There's good and bad people on both sides, and some people are quite neutral or quite sort of just there for the time. So I like that aspect of it. So the cricket game is incredibly intense. It feels like a movie in itself. It's because it's spread over 3 days, so it kind of almost feels like 3 acts, and it's just a roller coaster of up and down, up and down. It's just there's moments you think, oh, they're gonna win, then you feel like they're gonna lose. It just goes on and on and on, and it's just too much. It makes cricket exciting, and
that is something.
That is something, yeah. But it feels like watching a live sports match, and you have all the anticipation and the excitement there. And even within the cricket game, all the sort of characters have their little mini arcs, how they develop within the game, and shows all the tactics that go on, all sort of how dirty the British get, how inventive the sort of Indian seems to have very unorthodox methods of play, and it's incredibly intense. I was just, it was almost almost a little bit too much because you just want them to win. You kind of know that they're going to win because it's an underdog story. Yeah. But it's so close, and there's just moments you feel, it could actually just throw it, and then it's like, no, it's very well. So. It's a great film. It is quite long. I admit that.
Length doesn't bother me.
I wasn't turned by length. I was still engaged throughout the entire film, but I heard some people complain about it.
If a movie's good, the length should really not matter. If it keeps you engaged, it can.
I think it's well paced, and the characters develop really nicely throughout that time. I mean, there's one subplot that maybe is a little bit too much and is a little bit cliched and didn't need to be there, but it kind of throws it into a really interesting...
Just the one.
Yeah, it kind of throws in a very interesting, exciting dynamic into the mix, but it kind of doesn't become important later on, so maybe that's a little gripe, but I really enjoyed it, and
Fair enough. I mean, how does this compare to you've seen how many other Indian
Just
films?
one other.
Just one other Bollywood film.
I mean, they're very different in, things. They're both very good, but I think they're both sort of the well received.
They are supposed to be some of the better ones.
Yeah, so
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, okay, so speaking of Asian cinema, so I was recently watching films by Werner Werner Fassbinder of the German New Wave. I've changed directors now, and I'm now currently going to start binging Abbas Kiarostami of the Iranian New Wave.
Nice.
So I've been like I feel pretty ignorant of Iranian films. I've only seen about 5, so 5 Iranian films is really quite small for a film industry. So I'm moving into a new area, and I've watched Taste of Cherry, which is Abbas Kiarostami's one of his best received movies. He won the Palme d'Or for this, which is fairly deserving, I feel. So basic premise is dude drives around a quarry in Iran for about 90 minutes. The film lasts about 90 minutes. He drives around and he finds someone. He goes and asks people, "Will you bury me after I commit suicide?" And for various different reasons, people say no or yes. And he drives around, and that's the entire film. It's pretty basic. It's very minimal. It's one of the most minimalist movies I've ever seen. It is just shots of a dude driving a car, and shots of people talking in a car, and shots of a car whilst you hear people talking. It has that very Brechtian thing of being really, really distancing. In fact, it has a directly meta Brechtian sequence right at the very end. It made me think a lot about why the main character would want to do what he wants to do. It made me think a lot about what the film might mean. It's dense, but it's simple. It's an exercise in form. It's something that like Godard would do, or someone else. Godard. Someone like Godard would do. It's nothing. It didn't blow me away, but I have to say this is pretty good. I think it's a solid film, and it's continuing my trend of liking almost all the Iranian films I've seen, of which I have seen very few.
Has it made you question life and whether you should?
Not really, but I definitely feel like as with all of the best movies about someone travelling, it's not the destination that matters, it's the journey. I mean, see Apocalypse Now, What a Great Wrath of God, etc. But yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you haven't seen anything by Kiarostami.
No, I haven't.
Okay, but yeah, like I really liked it, so
okay,
I'm gonna watch more by him.
Cool. So I saw the live-action remake of Cinderella. Stars Lily James, and it was pretty good. It's okay. Lily James is quite good, and the prince is kind of nice. They've changed the story to make the prince actually develop as a character, and not just have him as a. And you feel there's actually some love relationship between them rather than it just being, the traditional Cinderella story. Although I do. So generally it's fine. There's some nice moments in it, like her dress and when she dances and all that kind of stuff. That's all really nicely done. But there's a few really annoying issues I have with it. Some of the CGI is pretty poor, like for the animals. They just don't look right, and it's weirdly like because she has friends who are mice and they transform into the thing. Like the mice are not very important compared to the original, where the mice have definitely her friends and they do.
I would have expected that though. Kenneth Branagh is not a childish director. No, he's quite flamboyant in his adultness.
Yeah, you say that though, but so there's that. That was a bit poor, and some of the sets don't look quite right. The cruelty aspect, like the original, is so much more cruel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I feel like they've really toned it down. Like so, the stepmother, she is. I was scared of her when in the original because she is sort of pretty frightening and is pretty evil in that sense. And unfortunately, Kate Blanchett, who plays the stepmom, she's not given. She just isn't as cruel. Like I think she's just not allowed to be as cruel. And like there's certain moments. Like there's a moment when she Cinderella gets a dress, her mother's dress, or who wants to go to the ball with them, and in the live action, it's just Kate Blanchett just rips one little sleeve of it to stop her going. In the animation, it's just the sisters are just tearing it to pieces and everything. It's just so horrid to watch. So that's really a shame. Although, on the other side, they do slightly change Kate Blanchett's stepmother to make her a little bit more manipulative, which I quite like. She's a bit more of a... She kind of delves into politics a little bit, which does a lot of dirty deals at the back, which was a nice little change, a nice alternative. Although the biggest sin, or the most... Not really sin, it's just so freaking annoying, frustrating, is that... So at the beginning of the film, Cinderella's mum has this little speech of, have kindness and be courageous. And those two words, kindness, courageous, appear like every 10 minutes. Some character says it, like, oh, be kind, be courageous. And I just got sick of it, like, halfway through, just like, stop telling me this, just stop being the most unsubtle piece of work ever. Yeah. So that frustrated me a lot.
Stop being those unsubtle, but you watch Sing.
True, but it's just, it just got sickening when you just hear it, it's just so cheesy and cliche.
How Shakespearean is it, considering this is Kenneth Branagh, who's obviously a master of Shakespeare?
I don't watch enough Shakespeare to say.
Okay.
It's pretty. I can definitely see his styles coming into it. Obviously, like definitely like how the ballroom scene looked and all that kind of stuff. I suppose it is kind of Shakespearean in the sense that how I say about the stepmother's character is a bit more of a Shakespearean villainess, and she does a lot more. She does as I said earlier, a lot of sort of dirty deals, and that little change I quite liked compared to the original. Yeah. But overall, it made me think more about the original because I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah.
But it made me realise, oh yeah, that was really cruel. That was a really like slightly pretty dark telling of the story. Okay. But yeah.
Okay, I want to just quickly mention one film and then we'll move on to our topic. Sure. There's a film called The Lovers and the Despot. Mm-hmm. It's a documentary film. It's about the true life story, which about Shim Shan-uk and Choi E-hun. No, whatever her name is. Mm-hmm. And basically a famous South Korean film director and a famous South Korean actress who in the 1970s were kidnapped by Kim Jong-il, forced to make North Korean movies until approximately 1987, I believe, or 86, when they defected and escaped. Mm-hmm. I say defected, they were kidnapped in the first place. Mm-hmm. So it's a documentary about that incident. It's currently on BBC iPlayer, if you want to watch it. It came out last year, so it's a recent film. All I have to say about the film is do not watch it. Put simply, because it is a basic retelling of a story that is inherently fascinating. Mm-hmm. The true life story of how Kim Jong-il kidnapped two people and forced them to make movies for him is so interesting. Mm-hmm. The reason I'm not recommending it is because I read the book this documentary is based on, non-fiction book called A Kim Jong-il Production by Paul Fisher. Mm-hmm. So interesting. I'm going to recommend the book, avoid the film.
Okay. Cool. Move on to topic.
Right, so
the gravity wave, or the space sci-fi wave over the last few years.
I mean, essentially, there's been one per year that's had critical success in the mainstream awards. Mm-hmm. I was going to say mainstream awards because what I'm saying is awards that I don't agree with. So this is the Oscars and Golden Globes and BAFTAs. So we had Gravity 2013, director Alfonso Cuarón. Mm-hmm. Interstellar 2014, director Christopher Nolan. The Martian 2015, director Ridley Scott. And Arrival 2016, director Denis Villeneuve. Mm-hmm. All critically acclaimed to varying levels. They've all had much success.
Been nominated for Best Picture, I think.
Interstellar wasn't.
Oh no, it wasn't.
That's one of the four. Stick all from all the academies.
That's nothing new.
Yeah, it's nothing new. Proves their shit. Do you know which one of the most successful? Gravity had 7 wins. The Martian didn't win anything, I don't think.
No.
Arrival had a bunch.
Apart from Matt Damon winning a Golden Globe, but yeah.
Well, I won best comedy at the Golden Globes.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, if you ever watch what the Golden Globes are, a film about a man dying on Mars won best comedy. Unless they're classified as a musical, of course. Yeah. I mean,
so yeah, we've got more science fiction in the Oscars now.
Yeah.
I guess the big question is, will one eventually win Best Picture?
Yes. Okay. I know we walked all this level. I'm going to bring this up now. The history of science fiction is so interesting. I do not read many books. Well, no. I used to read a lot. I now don't read because I watch so many movies. But when I do read, I'm essentially reading a few things. Non-fiction about films. Books that interest me, they're often... I've seen the adaptations. But the big one that I do read is science fiction. Specifically science fiction from 50 years ago, like 60s, 70s science fiction. And what's really clear is that we've had sci-fi come in and out. Sci-fi did not used to be a thing. It only started about 100 years ago, H.G. Wells, Jules Verne, like late 1800s. Then you get nothing. The 1930s happen, and you start getting all of the goofy, laser guns and zaps and stuff. And, zap, 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 the evil aliens and the robots and the spaceships. And the 50s, and you have the UFOs and all that dumb stuff. And science fiction is just dumb and goofy and stupid. 1950s happens in literature, and you suddenly get Philip K. Dick and so many other brilliant authors, Frank Herbert, who write really clever, sensible, non-stupid, non-goofy, serious science fiction. 2001 comes along. The most serious sci-fi movie ever made, also the best movie ever made, comes along, is the pinnacle of science fiction ever. Right? From that point on, science fiction is now a serious genre. Why the Oscars don't like it is quite simple. Up until about the 90s, the people at the Oscars still associated it with the old, goofy robots, aliens, spaceships thing. Yeah. Right? 2001 changes all that, but Oscar is always elderly. The average age has been over 60 for years. Yeah. So they were still like, no, I'm not going to vote for a movie about
proper films.
Yeah, how dare they make a movie about space that's better than all of the films ever made. So don't vote for it. And then science fiction then dies in the 90s because now there's no Cold War, there's no space race, not all of the space related science fiction dies off. Yeah. And then what you get is very few science fiction films coming out in that period. And now we're back in that position. So they will win eventually, but they haven't because it's only been now that the films that have right to appeal to Oscar voters have come back in. Yeah. If this generation of Oscar voters was voting in 1968, they would say Best Picture, 2001. The fact is, in 1968, they couldn't do that because it was so revolutionary. And the other big film is Star Wars, which also the counter effect of Star Wars made sci-fi commercial. Yeah. It made it
mainstream and about popcorn movies.
And franchise. Right, 2001 make it serious, and you get 10 years. Between 2001 and Star Wars, you get Silent Running, and you get Logan's Run, and you get a bunch of serious science fiction. But then you get 77 Star Wars, and it goes back to the 50s goofiness. But instead of being goofy, it's now franchisable and not silly. It's not like as ridiculous as it used to be. It's now high budget. It now looks good. And then it becomes not Oscar worthy because then the Oscars are like, I have fun with like mainstream
franchises.
Yeah. So the 10-year period from 68 to 77 where they could have gone sci-fi, there were too many elderly people who hated science fiction. And now we're in the era post Star Wars, where science fiction is now respected as much as it should be because it is one of the greatest genres there is. We're now in that period again, and now one could win. That's my view of why it's currently happening.
Yeah, because I'm wondering what kind of sci-fi space film will win. Will it be one which is a masterpiece, it blows everyone else away, revolutionary, groundbreaking?
Would love it to be.
Would love it to. Or will it be something which is good by Academy standards, and it was just happened to be a weak year, and it was just a bit, and there's sort of the sort of thing phase was just everyone thinking, we need a sci-fi film to win. We want a sci-fi film to win.
I think it's going to be almost your second one, but not quite. I don't think it's going to be a weak year. I think what it'll be is there'll be a sci-fi film that comes out that's the quality of, say, The Martian, which is a very good film, but it's no masterpiece. It's not flawless by any means. It's pretty great, but it's not great. It's not it's not amazing. No. It's right. And if some other Martian will come out, and that year it'll just be the film that gains the momentum. In the same way that something like Argo gained momentum, or The Artist, or those sort of films which gain momentum, but no one really thinks they're masterpieces. It'll gain that momentum one year, and they'll win. And what I think it'll be is everyone will go, that was a damn good sci-fi movie, but there's been like 10 better in the last 3 years. In the same way that, like Argo comes out and you go, a great historical drama, but there was 10 better ones last year as well. I reckon it'll be a good, when it does happen, I don't think it'll be revolutionary. I think anything too revolutionary never wins at the Oscars.
Yeah, agreed.
Because it's always divisive. Like Gravity was never going to win because it was too revolutionary.
Yeah. And it always will end up in a relatively safe pick that most people can agree with.
Yes. I mean, even Moonlight, which I do think in many ways is revolutionary, Well, let me rephrase that. It's not revolutionary because in the sense of
it takes a lot of different previous ideas from film and sort of combines them.
It's revolutionary in the sense that it brings that it's it's an American film that does so much from the international art house scene and has received success. That's why it's revolutionary. But it's not revolutionary in any other way. And I feel like that's such an odd one. I don't know. I do think a sci-fi film will win Best Picture. But look at it like this: like even weaker genres like fantasy have had a Best Picture winner.
Well, one.
That's still one, right?
Yeah.
That's still one more than any piece of science fiction in history.
Yeah.
And there's no question. Yeah. Fantasy, or I think an average fantasy film is worse than an average sci-fi film. And I think especially you give me a list of the 10 best fantasy films ever made, and a list of the top 10 sci-fi movies ever made.
Sci-fi will win, yeah.
Sci-fi will definitely win.
Especially because that one fantasy film was Lord of the Rings, which was special at its time.
And even then, right, there's been better fantasy films that have come out since then that deserve to win more than Lord of the Rings did. Pan's Labyrinth would be my example for this. Okay. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, Lord of the Rings, it was actually one of the most deserving Best Picture winners. But even then, they didn't pick... There has been better fantasy films that had Oscar... Like, Pan's Labyrinth had Oscar buzz. He won 3 Oscars. So we're not on about some obscure thing that they would never have voted for. They might have voted for Pan's Labyrinth, but they didn't. So, once again, I feel like if there's going to be a sci-fi movie, it's not going to be your Gravities or your 2001 or your Star Wars, which are the ones that are game-changing. It will be a much more... much more just standard one. It will be something which Arrival or The Martian is, which people are like, oh yeah, this is really good. I mean, a million sci-fi movies have done this before, but it's really good for what it is, and will be what people will think.
And it's just the right movie at the right time.
Exactly. The other thing that I feel like we're currently in a big trend is because we're now in auteurs. We've got people who are genuinely get great directors making science fiction. It isn't just any old hack. It isn't that period of where there's a million and one Star Wars rip-offs in the 80s. It's not that. We now have people... but the thing is that people like Christopher Nolan cites 2001 as his inspiration for Interstellar. Alfonso Cuarón is obviously one of the trio of Mexican directors who are currently big. Del Toro and Iñárritu for the other two. And Cuarón is clearly the one... And he's clearly the one with the big science fiction. He definitely loves science fiction and he loves serious science fiction. Here's the irony, actually, just thought of this, right? Proof that the Oscars are going to award it to the wrong science fiction movie. Gravity, 7 Oscars, right, for Alfonso Cuarón, and Alfonso Cuarón won Best Director. Not even Alfonso Cuarón's best directed sci-fi movie. That would be Children of Men. Done.
Here's actually a question I just thought of. Because we talked about how we're getting a lot of really acclaimed directors doing a sci-fi film, a space sci-fi film. Which acclaimed director that you like, which hasn't done a space sci-fi film, would you like to see try one?
That's interesting.
Yeah. Which one would be quite fun. Like, imagine Martin Scorsese doing a sci-fi film. Be a weird.
Yeah, no, he hasn't done one, has he? No. Actually, that's the one he hasn't done. So
yeah, that's just thing. Yeah, like would it just be gangsters but in sci-fi in space?
I would like to see Scott. I think Scorsese would bring his pulpiness from Cape Fear and Shutter Island into it. So I think he'd actually be a good match.
Would there be a Jesus God
I'm thinking. I've been intrigued by what Paul Thomas Anderson could do, but I don't.
Ooh.
But that's distinctly not his stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Pete.
That's an interesting question. I mean, there's a lot of the other best directors. Who else is there? Whoever.
I have Paul Greengrass.
I think he'd make a good sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
He
already does really good action thriller. I can see him do a really interesting. Just put his bit of shaky cam and see how that goes.
Yeah, he'd be a really good shot for doing an interesting top one. Like sometimes it'd be interesting just to see a director who I would never think of for doing science fiction just do one. But having said that, who would think the one that always gets me is that have you seen anything by Andrei Tarkovsky?
No, I haven't.
Right, Andrei Tarkovsky is the most art house director of all the art house directors there's ever been. I love Tarkovsky, by the way. Wow. It still gets me that the dude made he only made 7 movies in his entire life. You look at his movies and it's like, oh, this is a movie about a child in World War II. This is a movie about like a 15th century Russian artist. This is a movie which is told in no linear logical order about my own childhood. And then he just made 2 sci-fi movies, including one set in space, Solaris and Stalker. And surprisingly, it's like I would never have guessed he would make a sci-fi movie, but he made 2 of them. I was about to say, just because I love this guy, I would love to see Bela Tar do one, because that would be the weirdest thing. I would love to see like the equivalent of Saturn Tango or Werkmeister Harmonies in space. Just people going around a spaceport discussing the futility of life as they all starve to death on a frozen communist ice planet. But like, so beyond the auteur stuff, there's so many other sci-fi movies that have really gained traction that are set in space recently. So you have like Jupiter Ascending, you have Passengers recently, you have Life, which is why we're doing this. But then upcoming this year, we've got like Valerian, The City of 1,000 Planets. And then like you got all these franchises.
It suddenly just burst, I think. Yeah. This is the year where we suddenly have had more than one prominent original based, not including franchises.
Yeah.
Probably because back in Gravity, that's when they 2013-14 is when they got greenlit, and now they've all just happened. And it's a bit of a shame, really, because they're just not generally that good.
Yeah, because now the directors are not the auteurs that started the trend. You don't have, it's not Cuarón and Nolan and Scott. You now have people like Morden Tilden or Daniel Espinosa, who no one knows, who aren't people with established track records, people who don't bring anything new to the table. But like even like big franchises are back. I mean, you've Guardians. Yeah, the MCU has Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. Star Wars is back. Star Trek is back.
Independence Day
came back last year. Aliens back for Prometheus and now Alien Covenant. Blade Runner's back, and not only like there's even a Dune reboot coming out. Which, by the way, Dune so needs a reboot because that original has so many flaws but has so much potential. So I mean. Yeah, I mean, we're currently at that point where all the people that... Gravity came out, big hit. They all copied it. They hired any old director to do it, not like masters anymore. We now got any old director making them, and now they're coming out. Yeah.
I do worry that the genre is going to get saturated. It already feels like it's getting... The space specifically, with all these new films coming out of this year. It just feels like that way.
It's going to be like any other trend. It will peak and then it will drop again. I think this will go for a while and drop off again. I think once there stops being critically acclaimed ones, they'll stop. The studios will stop funding the ones that look good. Yeah. They'll stop funding the Martians and the Blade Runner sequels and Interstellar and all the ones that seem like they might be good. They'll stop doing it. They'll once box office falls or and once again, if no sci-fi movie does get any Oscars, they will also stop doing it because there's no point in doing it even for awards bait.
Yeah.
Which I mean, Arrival was very much awards bait, if to a large extent.
Yeah.
And if Arrival would not have been greenlit in if Denis Villeneuve had come through in 2011 and gone, I want to make Arrival, they'd not have said, then they'd gone no. I mean, the two reasons they didn't is because one, he had a track record of good movies, and two, they knew now sci-fi could be award bait. So I mean, I haven't heard of any other auteur recently going. I haven't heard of like anyone equivalent to Nolan, Cuarón, or Scott go into it. I mean, Villeneuve seems to have dominated the sci-fi thing because he's got Arrival this year,
and he's got Blade Runner,
and then he's got the Dune reboot in 2019.
Oh, has he got that as well?
So he's going to be dominating the art house quote unquote art house because. He's not really. Despite Arrival was the hackiest attempt at being an art house movie I've ever seen. So I mean, I don't know. I imagine it'll die. Like I reckon.
As all trends do. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what might keep it going as a franchise is I think if Star Wars keeps on being big, I think
it will. I mean, Disney are planning so many movies with them. They want to have one every year, basically.
If Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy, Star Trek, Alien, which are the big ones that are still going. If those franchises don't get fatigue, the current space sci-fi trend will go for a long time. I mean, let's not forget that Ridley Scott actually is an interesting case. Because he actually started his career in the late 70s with science fiction. Well, he did The Duelists, which was a hit. But then his second and third movies were Alien and Blade Runner, which are two of the best sci-fi movies ever made. Like, they're almost flawless. He made them, which was at the peak. I mean, at the time, those films kind of bombed. Well, because they were not what people wanted, because they were post Star Wars, but they were dead serious. The reason one reason why Blade Runner bombed is because people went, Harrison Ford in a sci-fi movie, gonna be good, goofy fun, and it wasn't. It was the most serious film ever. That's why Blade Runner did so terribly at the time. Also, the fact that the studio were dicks and ruined the movie, but
now we look back
and we realise that actually that was better than Star Wars, or rather, I think so, and I reckon most people should. But yeah, I do think that we've reached that point where science fiction is now respected as a genre. I think we've had all the ups and downs of various decades, and we've got to a nice middle ground where no one. I think it's of the three speculative fiction areas: horror, fantasy, and science fiction. Science fiction is the most respected one.
Yeah, easily.
But ironically, it's the one which hasn't won an Oscar, because if you count Silence of the Lambs as a horror film, then even horror's won. Which is definitely odd. And I'm not even saying I agree that... I mean, I do think science fiction is the best of the three, but I mean, horror's not far behind. Fantasy is the worst. Sorry to all fantasy fans, but it is the weakest of the three.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I kind of agree.
I mean, I think the crux of the thing is, right, science fiction is fundamentally about ideas, because everything in science fiction is a metaphor. Horror is obviously about ideas, because it's about fear. Yeah. It's about drawing on stuff that's actually scary, which once again, in all the best cases, is metaphorical. Fantasy is just elves stabbing dragons. It's not very interesting.
Well, it's new. It's different, completely different worlds, alternative worlds.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I understand that
universes.
There is fantasy that I do like.
I mean, I feel it's kind of dominated by the Tolkien.
It's dominated by high fantasy, which I think is actually my least favourite type of fantasy. I think if you're going to do fantasy, I prefer groundedness. I do not like... Tolkien's fine, but his work is just friendship and magical creatures.
Evil, yeah.
And everyone copies him.
I still really like Tolkien, but...
I mean, no, he's fine. I don't dislike Tolkien, but I mean, like, someone like George R.R. Martin is much more interesting in terms of his writing, and I do also think that when you look at I mean, in a cinematic sense, I think fantasy's been poorly done, whereas I think science fiction has had so many high points. Yeah, and there's
so many great sci-fi films.
And I think science fiction. I think the other thing, of course, is that fantasy doesn't really have any. I feel like the point of the best science fiction is often the ones that are furthest from fantasy. I feel like a lot of the really good ones are when it's metaphorical, but it's in a world that we can understand. When you're creating the rules of the world from the ground up, as you are in a lot of fantasy, it's a lot less about metaphor at that point. It's just about building up a world, and that's all good and fine. And I have no grudge against someone who likes that, but I don't care for that as much personally, which is why I don't like fantasy as much in literature or film. I say all this, and then I still can sit there and go, damn it, I love A Song of Ice and Fire, the books, and I love Pan's Labyrinth. So, I mean, even with fantasy, I still have things I love, so, you know, it's nothing against it. But, yeah. I think that's it. I think
we've discussed what we want to discuss, so let's wrap up, I think. So, yeah, thanks for listening. Please follow us or subscribe if you haven't already. Next week we'll be talking about remakes. Yeah.
So we'll talk about all the different because the show remakes coming out, so we can discuss how much worse it's going to be than the original.
But remakes in general, because we've had a lot of them this year, and we've got quite a few coming.
Yeah. So we'll discuss all that next week, and I don't think we'll be watching as many films between now and next week anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, I will be. So, I guess that's it.
Yeah, thanks for listening and bye.
Yeah, bye.